How's it going today, YouTube? My name is Andreas, and today I'm going to review my day 4 of the $24 to $1,000 challenge. As you can see from tell from the thumbnail, it has been going quite well towards the end of the session. Let's have a look at how that exactly went down. Now, here we get the hands that I marked. It's basically the biggest pots. Again, I tried to show you guys what my approach was yesterday, and it was basically to start off with no limit hold'em at first, also playing like 12 tables more or less, and these were the biggest 6 or 7 spots of the day. Now here we got the king 6 suited, which will limp along, so it's just 6 cent at the beginning, but we do actually have the nut flush on the flop, which we check call, and then facing an overbet, obviously jam the river and just stack a lower flush, which is quite nice. And you can see the value of high flush cards in this game, or high suits. Now here, with 3-betting versus cutoff with the 9s from the small blind, could have been 20 cents as well because of being out of position. Go ahead and check the flop, bet the turn, and then bet call the river against a lower set. If he has 3s here, well, then so be it. But at the same time, you can have pocket 4s, which was the case here. And yeah, I'm glad to take this one down. Ace-3 suited, obviously also still an option. Check back call would make some sense. Other hands I cannot really see. So here we got the pocket 10s, which we call against a small blind 3-bet. Flop is set, over pair. Just quite amazing, quite some run good here. But then also we got those other hands where we got pocket queens, squeeze, get 4-bet. And then this guy just puts in probably $1 almost stat, as you can tell from his stats. So I was like, okay, I'm probably about 38-39% against the 4-bet range, which is, queens plus ace king. If he has jacks in there, then it's amazing because then, I got an easy sack off and I got $1 dead. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take my chances. And, unfortunately, he has the kings here. So, yeah, I also didn't think he was bluffing, by the way. Here we got the classic kings versus aces. Lose another 100 big blinds. Here, classic ace king versus kings. I mean, he open shoved 100 bigs, and I thought, okay, ace king is still going to be a call here. Once he shows his hands and not really shows some other hands, maybe I could have folded this one. It's so hard to run into a very strong hand when you have ace king and somewhat open jams. And it really doesn't make any sense to open jam aces for the big blinds because you have such bad blockers, etc. Here I 5-bet jam ace king suited and get called by 10s. So yeah, I wish I had queens in this spot, but we win the flip. And that is it for no limit hold'em for the biggest pots. And we move on to the PLO, which has gone quite poorly for about 3,000 hands. At this point, you can see my EV. I was down money. My EV was bad. I was pretty tilted yesterday, and just opened a few more tables. Decided to keep on the grind and just do as well as I can. Let's have a look at what happened in the end in this game. We got the ace 7-4-3 double suited. Check it back on the flop, and here I'm not too happy about my jam, especially because he raises a donk. I mean, I don't want to be results here, and obviously it's the worst case scenario to be facing ace set plus a flush draw. But I guess, when people have these, 72% ranges, that's going to happen some of the time, and I just have a pair gotcha and a nut flush draw. If I had a pair of 9s or a pair of jacks, I would be much better off jamming here for 150. Getting him quite bad here against the top of his range. Folding probably a little bit better. And here, quite unlucky, I think, to have the open-ender, the flush draw, and the 2-pair at the same time, because that is a very, very strong hand against made straight. And fortunately, also he has not only just the ace-5, but also has a 7 backup, which gives him basically a redraw, the same redraw that I have. And yeah. I mean, he could have even had a worst case scenario, but 35% here. Obviously, I have to back call once, put in the bet. It's also not sure that he has that hand. And here also quite light stack off against the 65% range. It decides to check raise me here. Top pair, over pair, and flush draw. A good hand, but probably not good enough against the check raise here. Even though I thought, you know, they're quite fishy in that spot. Might be results in it though as well. Here I go for a bet, and then once on a turn, you know, once I have the 6-4 as well, so not just the top set, I'm ready actually to go with my hand against most fishy players like him. Unfortunately, again, he has it 93% range to begin with. I mean, it's fairly likely that he has it at that point. My stack of equity here needs to be quite high as well still. I think it's $3 into 8. That is 37%. In the end, I had 25. But then once in a while, you know, you're going to see hands that I replay that you have 80% of equity on. So I guess it cannot be too bad of a stack of once you bet. Here you can see that I have, you know, full house against trips. He 3-bets the flop, or 4-bets, right? Yeah, he check min raises, I 3-bet, he 4-bet clicks, at which point I'm just calling. Yeah, that happened. Fucking $1. Easy game, cannot fold for the price on the river, and move on. Here we got in with doubles of the kings against 2 players. The reason is poker, Loisa has played 78% of all hands. Super surprising that he shows up with ace, king, king, jack, double suited. Not so surprising that he has aces, but in case he does not, my hand is pretty good. On the marginal side, this time I win it. And here we got double suited hand on the button against fishy ranges. Here the plan on the flop is basically, you know, to not see a bad turn card, which is a club. I would have folded on a club. It's fairly unlikely that he has a better made hand, which he did in this point. Yeah, otherwise I'm just slightly ahead against some other made hands. Not that much, but definitely want to shift for clubs in this SPF 3 scenario. Yeah, he has 2 times pot size left of that point, or just pot size left. And then if a club hits a turn, then I'm definitely not good at that point. Unfortunately, you see the 3, which is mostly pretty clean, except for some ace 4. But on average, we're going to have 33%. And I think on a club, that wouldn't be the case, except for the what could have been maybe of the 7 of clubs with the 3 pair. But yeah, that's it. Then here we got double suited hand, multi-way. Don't ask me how I had 56% here. But it seems like they all have Broadway cards. I mean, this is pretty insane. 4-way equity in this game with ace 4, 7, 5 double suited, and it's not high-low. Pretty sick. But stoked to be flopping also the nuts and flopping them for quite that here. Which shows the power of, you know, card removal in this game. Here, clear punt. I don't know. I think I must have missed the raise. Trying to check call here. Because, yeah, I remember this in game. It was pretty bad. Fortunately now, though, they both have made hands. So, yeah, would not play that hand the same way. So some mistakes definitely happened. That was one of them. And here we got the, unfortunately, again, quite a cooler here on the turn. On the flop, we're doing super fine with our flop raise. And then on the turn, unfortunately, it turns things around, right? We need 33% of stack, of which we always have against range. And yeah, he makes the deuce 5 wheel. Multi-way pot again with a qualifying hand here when you see those hands and those hands. Quite insane how many 80% VP players I saw yesterday on Pillar 2. It's not always that great, by the way, surprisingly, on these low limits or micro limits. Here again, we got the nut straight and we go bet, bet, bet. Don't ask me how this guy got to $13. He must have been real lucky because he is not folding. He's just not folding ever. Like, he doesn't give a shit. Like, having clubs and kings here, I mean, he could just give up the river, but he doesn't. And, you know, that's nice for us as we take down a 300 big blind pot. And here we got the aces again. Also quite good spot on the flop. Not so good on a turn anymore as he turns a straight again. But here we have the top set and a nut flush draw. There's no way going anywhere. Lose this 250 BB pot. Aces versus aces seem to be going in always. Not that interesting. And then ace, king, aces, and the king 3, rainbow. Here we stack off 3-way. And only at 32% of equity, since Jack, Jack, 10, 9, you know, kind of is a better hand when both players have both together 3 aces. You know, the 3 and the deuces kind of interact because I cannot make less wheels because he blocks my wheel cards. I have no suits. So yeah, it all gets a little bit bad here. But we win the pot in the end. So we got aces again. This time it's a little bit better scenario since this guy's a pretty trashy hand and this guy has also quite a disconnected suited hand. So yeah, on the flop 24%, taking it down 500 BBs in the end. And that basically sums it up how the entire day has been going. A lot of grinding until, you know, the graph exploded in the end. You know, went on a 15 buying upswing within 1,500 hands. And that's exactly, you know, what I'm trying to do today. We're going to be live on twitch.tv/AndreasFurley. It's in the description below. Don't forget also to hit the thumbs up if you like this kind of content. In the future, when we're moving up to maybe NL5, etc., I might make some, you know, PL solvers sometimes to just show you the strategy. Not like that I think it's necessary to have these strategies against people on these low stakes, but it still illustrates, you know, what my approach is to just playing poker and to improve my game, because sometimes I'm not going to know the answers. So if I want to find out what I've been doing wrong and what I could do, I could just go into solvers and try to model the situation and, you know, try to just improve on whatever I'm doing at the moment or what I'm doing wrong, and then move on to a better strategy in the future. Now, you know, this is the first step. It's the bankroll challenge from $24 to $1,000. I will do more, you know, of these challenges in the futures. Maybe, you know, it's not going to be just necessarily a bankroll challenge, but just trying to win at a certain stake on maybe even a different site. But for the moment, you know, I have basically 30 days to finish this challenge. And, you know, the way I see it right now is just playing tons of hands, because in the end, I think like 10 to 15 BB100 is doable on these micro stakes. And, you know, it all depends on hands. If you're running bad, then you need to put in more hands. So you basically recoup for those days and, you know, get this challenge done in time. And I hope that's what I can do. So gonna see you guys on the stream and hope you enjoyed this content. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.